Another day, another week, another chance to better your life, to be able to pursue your dreams, and just to be able to conquer the world. That's what we're all about here on I Could Never Be, here on the Popcorn Talk Network. Just all about helping you live your best life and helping you realize the journeys and the struggles of the people that you look up to, the people who you say, oh, I could never be this person because they had money or they had connections or their path was so much easier than mine, and that's why I could never be them. But we break down those myths and allow you to just tackle that voice in the back of your mind that's telling you that. Because guess what? Everyone who's achieved success, at some point they wanted to quit. At some point they were facing an obstacle and they had the choice of, do I give up? Do I keep going? And the difference is that they kept going, and that's exactly what we're going to help you do here today. I always start the show with some advice for a better life. Today's advice for a better life is that success is more than the final step across the finish line. I know that's the glory step. That's the one that everyone focuses on. You think of a marathon. If people are running a marathon, it's what did you finish? What was your time? Oh, how well did you finish? But guess what? That first step in the marathon, the 50th step in the marathon, the step that rounded the corner, the step that overcame the obstacle and jumped over something, just as important as that last step. So to know success, you have to know the work. So study the work, put in the work, and then that final step will be so much sweeter. Well, certainly our guest today, I am incredibly excited to be able to talk with him because his journey is amazing. A lot of people know his final steps, know the work that he's been in. Desperado, Heat, Con Air, so many iconic films, certainly the most important, Machete, but his journey equally as incredible. He's put in the work, and now he's able to bask in the glory of the results. Without further ado, Danny Trejo, thank you so much for joining us in the studio today.
That was really profound, Holmes. I like that. That was, wow, I'm Danny Trejo. How are you? Yeah, it was, I love that. That was cool. And
thank you.
It's not where you, for me, it's not where you begin, it's where you end up, you know, and it's just, if I can go to sleep feeling good, and if I can wake up feeling good, I'm successful.
No, absolutely. And it's something that, you know, every day is a new opportunity too.
Absolutely. It's an adventure.
Yeah, every day is a new opportunity, and every end of the day is a new opportunity from the beginning of the day.
Yeah, when an opportunity comes knocking, make sure you open the door.
That's exactly what it is. Now, I got to know, because, you know, this show, we can go a number of ways, but I want to gauge where it's going, because are you more proud of all of your acting credits and your film credits, or for creating such a quality establishment like Trejo's Tacos? Which way are we going on the show today? The acting or the restaurant business?
I'm more proud of my kids, really. It's like I got three of the greatest kids in the world. They're all doing great, and they all went through their problems, and now they're like, just, you know, my son's Gilbert, he's producing music videos, and he's getting ready to produce a film and directing it. My daughter Danielle, she just moved to Ohio with her boyfriend, and they're running a big tattoo shop over there. And my son Danny Boy, he lives in Lone Park. He's a gamer. Yeah, so he's kicking games.
Did you want him to kind of follow in your footsteps of maybe being in the entertainment industry, whether that's, you know, music or acting? You
know what, Gilbert, I kept trying to get him to acting. He's a real good-looking kid, right? I kept trying to get him into acting, but, you know, a little shit, he kind of like surprised me, and on his own just kind of learned all about lighting and camera and directing, and, you know, he worked with Robert Rodriguez, you know, on Machete, and now, you know, he's doing his own stuff, so
that's cool. Incredible. And again, yeah, that's got to make you proud.
Yeah.
I mean, to just be able to see that and your legacy being fulfilled.
And I'm pretty proud of the restaurants too. And,
you guys are expanding those too, right? And you're opening, I think there's another location recently.
Hey, we just opened one at Terminal 1 of Southwest at LAX. So that's like amazing. Yeah.
What's the next step? Do you have a vision of opening so many a year to be able to expand outside of LA to various places?
Ash and Jeff, the two business partners, they just go, you know, when something good comes up, bang, we'll get it. You know what I mean? And you might open up another donut shop downtown, and we got a couple of locations that we're looking at for new Trejo's Cantinas. We got a nice one in Woodland Hills.
Nice.
You know, one on La Brea, one in Cahuenga, right there in Hollywood, and another one in Pasadena. You know, so So
And the food is delicious. Everyone in LA raves about this food. If you come to LA, you need to be able to check out Trejo's Tacos. And again, there's coffee and donuts, and there's so many other places that you guys are
Santa
expanding.
Monica Boulevard and Highland.
Amen, brother. Amen.
shop.
Yeah, it's great. So check that out. And also, if you want to, follow Danny after the show, at official Danny T on Twitter, at official Danny Trejo on Instagram. Certainly, you can follow me at the Only MC on Instagram and on Twitter, and at the Popcorn Talk. We're very grateful to be here on that network. We're live here every single Monday to be able to just share people's stories. And again, we're also on Apple iTunes podcasts. So go like, comment, subscribe. We give this content to you guys for free. We just want to be able to just spread some positivity in the world. That's what it's all about, right?
Yeah, right now we're doing Man at Arms,
Yeah.
Art of War,
Yep.
which is on the El Rey Network, which is like really cool. It's like, how do you say it? It's historical.
Yeah, I love it because, and I was watching episodes, and it's Wednesdays at 9 p.m. I think you guys are halfway through about season 2, and I was watching this, and it's incredible. You're going through weapons that are in movies and TV shows and like games, even like Assassin's Creed.
Yes.
Now,
And actually, but it's not just weapons; it's the history of them and the part that they played in like winning the war, stuff like that.
Now, certainly, everyone knows you for Machete. Have you always had an interest in? Oh my goodness! Just look at that.
I love going through the airport. Like, okay, you got my shampoo, but
Have you always had an interest in other weapons as well? Because they tackle such a diverse array of weapons.
When Robert told me about this, well, have you ever built weapons? Well, I said, built a couple of shanks. No, we're going a little deeper than that, and we've gone like, we've done like the samurai swords, which actually was an art. It was like an unbelievable art that certain samurais had.
Do you have a collection? I mean, either before or during or after the show now?
Let me tell you something. I have got weapons that people have sent me that they make from all over. I've got a whole, and it's funny because part of my parole is you can't have any sharp objects. And we've got this house just full of brass knuckles and hammers with knives, and then people just keep sending me stuff,
So what do you do with it then? If it's you can't have it, do you just
put it in a display case?
Well, I mean it's appreciated. I'm sure that people want to send you stuff, which is great.
I love it. I think it's a blessing to be able to, like just with my life, just to be able to make somebody's day signing an autograph or taking a picture. That's a blessing, man.
I was gonna say, when people run into you, do they call you Danny? Do they call you another character? Do they call you Machete?
Machete! Yeah, it's funny because for a long time when I would walk into Home Depot, right, all the guys stand outside, Machete, hey, Machete. Now it's like, hey, Marsha Brady, what's up? Hugo Marsha, So
with all the weapons that you're working on Man at Arms, has there ever been one that's come close to the Machete that you love?
A lot of them are sharp, but the Machete, when you look at the history of a lot of weapons, a lot of them were actually tools. Were actually farming tools. Were actually tools that people used every day, and because of the situation, they became a weapon. So I like the history of them. The history of them. People don't realize it, but the Mongol hordes, the reason they were so tough is because they developed the double bent bow and made it so much stronger than the long bow that they had, and it was short, so they could use it off a horse, and this made them like just unstoppable.
And I love that, that part of the show where you're talking about the history and talking about even, I know for a couple of episodes, like, how is this used? How would this be used? And is this still, is this an actually good weapon to use?
Yeah, well, the machetes never die. and the reality is they still use it for cutting cane,
Yep. Yeah, you said the machete never dies.
That's sugar cane. That's sugar cane.
Sugar cane. Yeah, for sure. The Machete never dies. You had Machete in 2010, the sequel in 2013. There's been the talk of Machete kills again.
Machete kills in space. Yeah,
in space.
Robert's doing working on, and it's going to be, when that comes out, it is going to just be unbelievably crazy.
Is there a timetable of like when you want to have it out versus like when you think it would come out?
I would say that Robert has his own timetable for doing stuff. I know he's working on a big movie right now with somebody.
Is there anyone that you specifically would like in that movie, in the third installment?
Well, you know, we got Jessica Alba, we got Michelle Rodriguez, we got Amber Heard, we got Lady Gaga.
Mel Gibson.
Mel.
Yeah.
He didn't get it. I was naming all women. But I love Mel.
Yeah.
You know, Mel it's funny because he's like people don't realize it, but you know those people, they can put their hands on you and heal? He's like a healer.
Yeah.
He's a trip. It's like I had a bad shoulder and I didn't even tell him, and he had said something about it, and then he manipulated my shoulder, and boy, for a long time it was like better, you know what I mean? And yeah, he's kind of cool.
Just another reason to have him on set. You're like, we want you not for acting, we just for the healing.
Yeah, Mel, come on. But it was so funny because when we were doing Machete Kills, I had a sword fight with him. You know what I mean? And so when Robert yelled action, I threw my sword down. And what's wrong? I gotta fight William Wallace. Come on, what are you crazy? This guy saved Ireland.
Yeah. That character, wow.
He was awesome. You know?
Yeah.
But then even Mel laughed, you know, when we finished the scene.
You've always been known for, that character who's, the down and dirty, the fierce, the rugged, and it's certainly typecast. Do you appreciate that typecast? Have you just grown to embrace that character, or do you want to play someone else?
I think the first 5 years of my career, I was inmate number one.
Yeah.
And bad guy and mean guy. And so the first time I got interviewed by some young lady fresh out of interview school or something, she says, "Danny, aren't you afraid you're being typecast?" "What do you mean?" She said, "Well, you're being stereotyped." I said, "What?" She said, "Well, you're playing the mean Chicano dude with tattoos." I thought about it and I said, I am the mean Chicano dude with tattoos. But, to me, it was a job. I wasn't being stereotyped. Or I wasn't being typecast. That was what I did. It's like you don't typecast a painter is typecast, and so is a plumber. He's typecast as a plumber. And so, I mean, look at me. It's like it would be tough to get me like the romantic lead. You know what I mean?
But you tell me you couldn't play the romantic lead.
Oh, well, yeah, I could. I got to kiss Jessica Alba and won 8 times.
But who's counting?
Yeah.
He was counting.
No, but I just, to me, it's like, go with what you got, whatever it is. Find out what you love doing and figure out how to get paid for it.
Is that hard for a lot of people, you think? Because they always think the grass is greener on the other side.
Yeah, but the reason the grass is greener is because then people mow their lawns. And that's, and it's like, so you just, you reap what you sow. It's like, if I'm always talking to them, and the biggest problem with today's youth is they've been told so many times, you're worthless, blah, blah, blah. You can't, opportunity, there's no opportunities. It's hard to get a job now. But that's too much competition. There's competition in everything. There's competition. People say there's so much acting in competition. There's so much acting in so much competition in being a plumber. You know what I mean? It's like, so go for what you know. I would rather shoot for the moon and miss than aim for the gutter and make it.
Wow. I love that. That's a great line.
That was profound, like you did.
That was great, and it's got to make you feel good because I think you're working with, is it ABC, to develop actually a show about your life?
Well, it's kind of about my life. It's about me coming out of prison, and I have a daughter, and she was 10 years old when I went to prison, and she adored her dad. She just adored her dad, and then I left. She thought I left her, right? But I went to prison, and her mother leaves and passes away, and then all of a sudden, when I come out, 20 years later, she's got a daughter, 10. Now, my daughter hates me because of what I did, but her daughter adores me. So it's like this whole circle, and everything that she does out of hate backfires on her, and so I call it a comedrama because it's comical, but there's real dramatic parts,
sure. And I feel like
and my mother in this sitcom, left a restaurant and a house to me and my daughter together because she knew, right? And so my daughter can't sell the house or the restaurant because she has to have my signature. I can't because I'm parole there.
It's something that binds you guys.
And so through the episodes, you see us grow.
Wow. And what's the how many episodes are you hoping for that for seasons, or is it?
Oh, I hope for about 2,000. But it's ABC, so it's like it's kind of they don't go for anything too shabby, so it's kind of cool. And our writer is Joaquin Murrieta. It's not Joaquin. His name is Joaquin is his son's name. Anyway, his last name is Murrieta. He's a really good writer.
How you're talking about your time in prison, and we've talked about the rough character that you are. Is there a soft side? What's the soft side?
I like puppies. I like puppies. I have 4 dogs. My kids, you get me around my kids, and it's like they're the tough guys, not me. My daughter, my daughter could make, when she was little, she made me cry just by, but I think my kids, that's the the softest I am around my kids or around my pets or around nice people,
Yeah.
I like nice people. I like people that don't have an agenda,
Yeah. Yeah, especially in today's society, it's hard to find.
Yeah.
But it's so important. What's your rugged life? And I know I appreciate you've been open.
Life. That sounds like a cowboy movie. Rugged life. I think but I love westerns though. I love westerns. So there's really people don't know about me. I've got about 8 westerns on my iPad. I travel all over the world. I watch the same movies every time.
What ones? What's the 8?
Come on, one of the best westerns ever made. One called Tombstone with Val Kilmer. I'll be your Huckleberry, and I've got Once Upon a Time in the West, Charles Bronson.
Such a good movie.
I got one called Silverado. It's a great movie. Another one called The Long Trail with John Wayne, and one called Rio Bravo with John Wayne, Ricky Nelson.
Now, did you ever watch like the Bonanza TV series? Was that in there too?
Me and my dad used to watch when I was little. Wagon Train,
Nice.
Wagon Train, and 20 Mule Team. The old Ranger.
Wow, I used to watch. Yeah, growing up, it was like Saturday mornings. I used to watch Wild Wild West and Bonanza were like right after each other with my dad. When your earliest memory. And because I know you started down with some drugs at a young age, 8.
Yeah, my uncle turned me on to grass when I was 8.
Do you vividly remember that, or do you remember your first? Obviously, we're talking about grass and memories. I understand how it sounds.
You know what? Yeah, but I do. I remember that, and I remember first fix of heroin. 12, but it's so funny. Like. People say, I always say, I was never abused. And, wait a minute, Danny, I think giving marijuana to an 8-year-old might be a form of abuse, and giving heroin to a 12-year-old. But I thought it was sharing. I thought it was sharing with me, So I didn't think of anything bad. I mean, you got to remember, this was a time when people. You used to grow marijuana everywhere. I mean, you would throw seeds anywhere there was a drippy faucet and sun. And, 3 months later, you have a nice marijuana bush. But now, it's so nasty and it's so chemically ridden, and, it's not the same thing. It's basically a poison, but...
Were other 8-year-olds and 12-year-olds, doing
No, well,
that?
Timmy Sanchez, he tried it with me, but some people have an addicted personality. Some people don't. He didn't like it. He just it didn't stick with him. Me, I just went on to bigger and better things.
There's the song, and I forget who sings it. It's called like Slow Fade. It's a slow fade. I think the song when you give your life away or when you go down a path. Is that how you would maybe describe your journey of like when you were 8 and it's one thing, and then maybe at 10 is something else, and then 12 when it was heroin, and was that how you look back and you say it was a slow fade?
Yeah. But I think once you shoot heroin, you just kind of nod out and wake up 12 years later in prison. You know, it's not like, you know, what I do, you get here, you know, and so it's, but it's one of the reasons, you know, when I go to schools and I talk, when I say to a Kiwanis club of adults that my uncle turned me on to grass when I was 8, they go, oh my God, you know, they're like appalled, right? But when I say that to a junior high school class, they go, huh?
Yeah.
Because they already know. Yeah, that's
they're
what
experiencing
happens.
it.
Exactly. So, I mean, I honestly believe that, like, sex education should be taught before they're having sex. I think drugs should be taught before they're having drugs. You know, and I remember one time I walked into this store, and oh, I can't say that on TV. But this guy had moved the condoms in the back because the kids were stealing them.
Interesting.
You know, and I said, well, why don't you sell them? And he says, to kids? And I thought, well, okay, well then help raise all them kids that are, you know what I mean? That are born. So I mean, I know I'll probably get some flack, but I think, you know, anybody should be able to buy, anybody, you know, and I don't care if you're, you know.
Prevention is important.
Exactly.
There is certainly, there's an importance to knowing things. And, you know, one of the lines that I remember from college from a professor was, it's okay to break the rules, just know why you're breaking them.
Yeah.
So you have to know the rules, and then if you want to break them, maybe you know why you're breaking them.
Well, you know what? We have stigmatized condoms so bad, especially with Latinos and young African Americans, that, you know, it's not manly. They're not manly. So because they're not manly, we have so many you know, teenage kids, you know, with baby. God, I sound like a preacher on this. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're
Popcorn talk, man.
Were you scared going to prison?
I think if it's your first time, like if you just all of a sudden do something wrong, go to San Quentin, you better be scared. You know what I mean? You better be in fear of your life. But if you've grown up in that system, then when you get there, you already know people. You already are adapt to what's going on, you know. You just think of all the people you burnt on the street, you know, and hope they're not in that prison. But I think it's a apprehension of, you know, of who you know and who you don't know, and who's mad at you and who's not mad at you. You know, I could fight. I was always lightweight and welterweight champion of every institution I was in. So it didn't, you know, it wasn't a fear. It was just like kind of an adventure. You know, what's going on. Every day's an adventure, and prison is kind of a place where there's only two kinds of people. You know, there's like a predator and a prey, and you just decide every day what you're going to be. You know.
I love the picture. There's a picture that we actually have of you fighting when you were. It was one. I think you were. It must have been when you were a champion, or were in. It was some picture. There you go. That's the picture right there.
Yeah.
When you were at San Quentin.
Yeah, that was. God, I don't even. Boy, I was pretty. No wonder I fought so good. I was a cute kid. So did look. Look, I was a cute kid. Well, you better fight, buddy.
That was it. Your looks were the distraction.
You know what? People have seen that picture and they've asked me, "Is that Gilbert? Gilbert's my son, right?" I know that's me, but he looks exactly like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, how did you get trained? Was your training just experience of being in the wrong place at the wrong time and just having to defend yourself?
My training, I had my uncle. You know, my uncle Gilbert. He was fighting Golden Gloves when he was like 14, and
wow.
I was his sparring partner / punching bag. So I had to, you know, I better learn how to fight or. You know, I remember he had this deal where he would throw a rock. He said, "If I throw a rock at you, what are you going to do?" I said, "Move." So he'd throw a rock and I'd move, right? And he goes, "That's what you do. Okay, pretend this jab is a rock," you know, and I'd move, you know. So kind of taught me how to get out of the way of punches. I know a lot of people don't like him, but Floyd Mayweather is one of the best boxers ever. ever. If you ever,
Because he's a defensive boxer.
well, you know what? He's absolutely a defensive boxer, but he is a great boxer. You know what I mean? And to watch him fight another boxer be boring as hell. All right, but to watch him, I love watching him. Just like, you know, bang bang, watch his right, boom. You know, so he fights. That's what my theory was. I would rather punch somebody than get punched. So if you watch Floyd, it's like bang, bang. But then when he cuts loose, bang, 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 you know, because he knows I can throw these 4 and then get out.
Yep.
You know, and people, you know, think, well, he's running. No, he's not getting hit.
Was it an everyday thing that you were involved in some kind of skirmish?
Well, I used to run the gyms in institutions so I could fight every day. You know, in Soledad, I trained like 5 guys. So I used to spar like 5 rounds with each one. And,
Wow.
And so it was a great workout. But you know, a lot of people play chess. A lot of people read. A lot of people play hammer. That's what I did. I did my time boxing training. You know,
Pass the day that, you know. Yeah. What was the day, do you remember that it's, you know, maybe was it a mindset change of, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to change. I want to switch up the way my life is headed?
Cinco de Mayo, 1968. Cinco de Mayo, to a lot of people, means 5th of May. That's a good picture right there.
That is a great picture.
That's in Venice, yeah. Cinco de Mayo, to a lot of people, means 5th of May. But to a real Mexican, I mean, one from the heart, it means get bail money. You know, because you're probably going to go to jail today. You know? So, Cinco de Mayo, 1968, me, Ray Pacheco, Henry Quijada were drunk out of our minds, loaded, and every pill there was. And there was an outside baseball team that came in to play baseball. And we, the third baseman was chewing gum, I remember, and you're not allowed gum in prison, you know, and Ray said, "Give me some gum." You know, I'm not. This guy whined about not being able to get gum, so Ray attacked him, and that's a gas chamber offense, attacking a free person. He socked him right, and then it was alleged that I threw a rock and hit Lieutenant Givens, and then it was alleged that Henry Quijada ruptured Coach Strahlmeyer. So basically, those are 3 gas chamber offenses, you know. And we went to the hole, and I remember thinking, they're going to kill me, you know. It's not a good thought, you know what I mean? And,
were you scared, nervous, like thinking of a way to get out of it?
Look, you got to understand, being scared and being nervous is your fear of looking bad. And the last thing you want to do, especially in prison, is look bad. So you disguise fear with hatred, with anger, with a look that says, "Hey, I'll kill the guy that dry cleans your clothes, buddy." You know what I mean? And that pushes it away. And I remember seeing this movie when I was a kid. It was with the East Side Kids. That's before your time, but there was the East Side Kids, and Muggs, one of the bad guys, the real bad guy in the neighborhood, was going up the river to the electric chair, and Muggs, the leader, was saying, he'll spit in their eye, you know, yeah, he'll say, "Come get me, copper," you know, and he didn't, you know. Pat O'Brien had to come and tell him, yeah, whine like a little girl, you know, and he peed his pants, you know, so. And I remember I just didn't want to do that. And I said, "Lord, you know, let me die with dignity. And if you let me die with dignity, I'll say your name every day, and I'll do whatever I can for my fellow man." I thought it was just going to be a couple years, you know what I mean? But our cases were DJ rejects because they had no witness. You know, 2,000 inmates. Your mother did it. The mouse, Mickey Mouse. You know, so So basically, it was a DJ reject, so there's no charge. So they kicked us back out on the yard. And I got out of the pen 1969, and I've been August 23rd, 1969. I got out of the joint. I've been keeping my promise every day and say his name every day and do whatever I can every day.
Yeah, I know you got the cross necklace on.
Yeah, always. And I'm telling you, people think that you have to go out and talk to this school. Just call somebody that's suffering, or just talk to somebody that's suffering, or just say hello to somebody. A lot of times the Lord's blessed me. I can make somebody's day just with an autograph or a picture.
Actions speak louder than words sometimes, as they say.
Absolutely.
Congratulations on it's 50 years.
Yeah.
50 years sobriety.
Yeah.
I mean, that's unbelievably amazing.
Yeah. But you can't thank me. You got to thank what the Lord did with me,
Did you think, was it ever like, I need to get to 10 years, I need to get to 20 years, or 1 year, or 2? I mean,
you know what?
Was there ever that thought?
They kind of told me that it's a day at a time. That's the only person I'm in competition with is me. I want to be better today than I was yesterday, and kind of living up to it. I really believe that. And I think that's what we talk about success. When I go to bed, man, I feel good about myself going to bed, just laying there. 3 dogs. My daughter said, "Dad, that's why you can't get a girlfriend." I got 6 dogs in my bed. But I got one little chihuahua that if I start talking to somebody, it'll shut up.
It wants the attention.
It's a little girl, Dixie, and so there's a lot of things that just like keep you grounded. My kids won't let me get too far out. Mary, my secretary, she's the one that's really that really keeps me grounded. Really just like, hey, lighten up. So.
1985. Your first acting role.
Yeah. Runaway Train.
Yeah.
I ran into a friend of mine on a movie set called Eddie Bunker, right? And you're getting $50 for acting like a convict, being an extra. And Eddie Bunker said, "Danny, are you still training?" Because he saw me win the lightweight, the welterweight title. So he was in prison, and I said, "Eddie, I don't get hit in the face anymore. I'm 40 years old." He said, "We need somebody to train one of the actors how to box." I said, "What's it pay?" And he said, $320 a day. When he said that, I said, "How bad you want this guy beat up?"
Yeah.
Because $320 a day was
so just
SAG.
one guy, or you need me to train multiple?
Well, that was SAG. That was SAG scale.
Wow.
That's why everybody wanted to be SAG.
Yeah.
That was more money than I was making all week. I was a drug counselor, and drug counselors don't, saving lives doesn't pay as much as acting. So God, man, I started training an actor named Eric Roberts how to box, for a movie called Runaway Train, and the director saw that I got along with Eric, and Andrei Kodzelowski was a Russian aristocrat, very soft-spoken, never yelled. One of those directors that he didn't understand movie stars. Actors he understood. Movie stars, they're like dicks.
They're a different breed. They're a different breed.
You know what I mean? And so when he saw that me and Eric got, he hired me. I'll never forget. He comes over, he puts his hand on me. "You be in movie. You fight Eric in movie. And you be my friend." Well, if you're from a prison background, you don't really like people saying, "You be my friend," and then he leans over and he kisses me on one cheek, kisses me on the other cheek, walks away, right? And I told Eddie, "Look, I'm gonna train the kid for 320, but if I'm gonna be kissing that old man, I want more money." And no, he's European. I am. They kiss, And so Andre and I, we became really, really good friends because he watched me and he liked what I did. And then so I was the boxer in a movie called Runaway Train with John Voight and Eric Roberts. And I got SAG, I got Taft-Hartley, I got all that stuff. You know what I mean? And from there, I just played. I was a glorified extra for 5 years. I just played inmate number one, bad guy.
Were people searching you out for roles, or were you kind of going after these roles now?
You know what? It's like as an extra, you have I forget the guy's name, but he just sent us out as, and I wasn't an extra anymore. But I I would go out as an extra, but I get paid SAG. So, I work 4 days, and that's money. You know what I mean?
Especially, in the 1980s and 90s. Yeah.
So, was that making a pretty good living being a I thought I had a career, and then I'll never forget this young lady fresh out of interview school. The first time I got interviewed, she said, Danny, don't you feel you're being typecast? And I didn't know what that was. I said, what do you mean? She said, well, you're being stereotyped. I said, that's what? She says, well, you're always playing the mean Chicano dude with tattoos. I am the mean Chicano dude with that. So I didn't know what the problem was. And that was what really taught me, go with what you know. Mm-hmm. So I've seen people, I don't want to be an extra. Shit, I do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's all about being paid.
Yeah.
And I had to set this job as an actor. And first of all, it's a gift from God. Secondly, it's the same as any other job. It's the same as a plumber, a doctor, it's the same as a house painter. A plumber. It's the same as my job. The only thing is just they're paying for this, and for me not bumping into the furniture and remembering lines. That's what they're paying for. Just like I don't have my tools, and
were you taking acting classes?
No.
No.
Let me tell you acting class, okay? Acting class is standing on the yard in San Quentin, knowing there's going to be a riot, knowing that you might get killed, having a 4-inch piece of steel in your jacket, knowing that you might have to kill somebody, and you have to act not afraid. That you should win an Oscar. You understand? And then you outside, you're like this. You're just so inside. Oh my God! Please do. That's inside, but you can't show that.
You can't show it.
See because they can. Prison is adapted. We see that. We see on me and Sonny Rios and George Velasquez. We got sent to the hole, and we're in B section of San Quentin, and I'd never seen a guard shoot in the block, and I've been in prison a lot, but in the block, bang, they shoot, and you hear this. Because
it's ricochets.
Oh, ricochet. So he might not be shooting at you, but that ricochet. And so when he shot, I screamed, "He shot him!" And I realized my voice went up 8 octaves. And then I clicked, boys, you see that? And Sonny, I'll never forget. Sonny, goes, no, we heard her, Holmes. She came out. Shut up, Sonny.
One of those things never let you live it down either. Never let you live it down.
Never. The rest of the time, I was, hey, do that voice you do. Shut up, punk.
What do you consider to be maybe your most challenging role then? If you said, nothing was as tough as being in the yard, what maybe came close? What was a challenging role for you?
I got to say that the most challenging role I did was a movie that I did with Maggie Gyllenhaal called Sherry Baby, because it was like a dramatic role. And I had to be like the nice guy. I had to be like the guy that brought this girl in to help her, without any strings attached. And we were friends, and she had come out of prison, and everybody was abusing her and using her, and anything she wanted to do, somebody would say, well, okay, this is what you got to do. And so I had to be like the nice guy. And she showed up at my house one day after being out and being abused and being on the streets, and I had to put her in a bathtub naked and give her a bath. And Lori Collier kept saying, Dan, I don't see it. I said, what is it you don't see? Dan, you look like a lech. Come on, look at she naked, lady. I couldn't get into
character.
This, and so Lori, it's cut. And so let's take a break, so so what do you want, man? She said, Danny, this is so heavy. You don't understand this scene. I said, yeah, I do, man. She's loaded. She came in, and I got to give her a bath. And then she said, what if your daughter? I said, shut up. You know, it's because she was gonna. I know what she's gonna say. You know, what if this is your daughter? She shut do it. And I guess he got mad at her. You know, she said, okay, well, let's just go back. Let's try this again. If we can't do it, we'll skip it. And then I couldn't get that out of my mind. So when I was doing this, cleaning Maggie, I was almost in tears. You know, I couldn't. I couldn't get past that, and then afterwards it was like too long, and she wasn't saying cut, you know what I mean? And next we had been here long enough, we're gonna have sex, you know what I mean? I was like, and so I looked around and everybody was crying. They got it.
Wow.
And she says cut, you know.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, it was like it was a heavy scene. I think that's the heaviest I've ever gone in
a role
movie, yeah, you know. But I seen for actors that do that for a living, man, that's heavy. You know what I mean? Guys that can do that.
With acting, is there a confidence that gets built up every role of like with that?
Yeah.
I can do that now again.
Yeah.
I can do this
I don't
now
want
again.
to though. But
Yeah.
I can. You know.
Talk about that confidence that you maybe get from like doing something and being like, oh, all right, I know I can, now I can do it again.
Well, you got to remember, I went from being Machete, baddest dude on the planet, to being Marsha Brady. That was funny. You know, that was funny. You know, I can do anything. I can do anything. You know, and so it's funny when I was I go into Home Depot, right? All the Mexicans out there. Machete. They all used to call me Machete. Now, hey, Marsha. Hey, all right. So,
did you look up to or idolize anyone? I mean, when you're coming up in acting, were you ever looking at other actors and saying, man, look, I like the work that he's doing. I want to maybe try to do something like that?
Growing up, my uncle was my idol. My Uncle Gilbert, guy that just, my Uncle Gilbert gave me everything that I was going to need to go to San Quentin. You know, and that was the path I was on, and the only thing that was going to beat me to San Quentin was the headlights on the bus. And but once I got into acting, it was like I loved Charles Bronson. You know, I loved Charles Bronson. I just had to watch him; he's like just amazing, man. And his little looks and stuff. You know, and then when I got to work with him on Death Wish 4. And it was like I became friends with him. I just couldn't believe this guy's awesome. And I met Clint Eastwood. He doesn't even remember, but I met Clint Eastwood when I was like 13 years old. My dad had built a bar in our house, and my dad worked in the apartment buildings that Clint Eastwood, the guys from Rawhide, worked. And I guess he had invited him over. And I remember when Clint Eastwood came in the house. When I was like 13, I think, and he was working, he was rowdy. You knew, even at 13, this guy's gonna be somebody. You just knew it.
Yeah.
It's like he just had that.
He had the aura.
Oh man! And it was like, whoa! You just stood there and like, hey, Rowdy, what's up? Yeah, you know, he was like just so had that squint, you know, that squint that he had. So I guess he was an idol of mine too.
Is there anyone now that you would want to work with? Anyone that you're like, man, I'd love to be able to work with him. I mean, Clint, I think he just did the Mule. I think that's his final project. Is there anyone you're like, man, I would love to be able to maybe work with this actor, work with this actor? Or actress?
God, I worked with everybody. I worked with 320, 380 movies. But I don't know. I've worked with God. I don't think there's. I think no, I don't. You know, just give me what you got. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And see who's in it. You know what I mean? So a lot of times I show up to a film and I read the script on the way to the movie. You know what I mean? On the way on the plane, and I don't know who's in it. I just.
You love acting.
I love it. I love everything there is to do with movie making. I'd be a grip if it starts raining, I'll help with the furniture, move it out of the rain. You know, I just love being on movie sets. Before, when I first got into it, I'd be driving down the streets and I'd see a movie van or whatever. I'd stop. I'd go have lunch with them.
Really?
Hey, what's up? I usually know somebody.
What is it? Is it the creation? Is it just the vibe that there is on sets?
I think it's it's loving what you do and being able to do what you love. You know, because I know like Chubby's Automotive, the guy that works on my old cars. He loves being a mechanic the same way I love. You know, he loves getting up. Listen to that. Listen, come here. Listen. He's the same thing. You know, same thing as watching the monitor. Oh yeah, that was cool. You know.
You've overcome, I mean, a lot of things, and you might not see it as like overcoming things or like all obstacles, but because we often do that when we have overcome things, like, oh, it wasn't that bad, it wasn't whatever. What do you think stops a lot of people from overcoming an obstacle if they face something of turning around instead of going through something?
Well, I think a lot of people, it's like they've been told that you can't do, and again, it's like the only thing that limits us is our mind. That's it. And if you think about it, we only use a little portion of our mind. People have like have trained this thing to move stuff. So it's like there's no limit. Again, it's like that thing. I'd rather shoot for the moon and miss, than aim for the gutter and make it. Every time I say, no, I can't do that, I'm aiming for the gutter.
What drives you now?
Living every day to its fullest. Just enjoying the day and being able to do whatever I want to do and loving what I do. But again, it's like I want to be able to lay down and know that I did a good job today. I want to wake up and ready to do another good job.
In 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever years, down the road, people look back and they say, oh man, Danny Trejo. Oh yeah, I loved his film. What do you want people to say about your life? 2 or 3 things that you could be like, man, Danny Trejo, he was blank. He was blank.
First, a great dad. I want to be the best dad. I want to be a good dad. I know that sounds corny, but that's what I want to be. I remember my kids at T-ball. I remember that stuff, So I want to be a great dad. Yeah, a great actor, I don't want to be a movie star, but a great actor, and somebody that that never said no, to people, that I just somebody that if you needed help, I was there. And I think my friends are the same way, because like Mario Castillo, my assistant, right? I met this guy in San Quentin, and when we were doing Blood In, Blood Out, and I was an actor, he was like an inmate, and we were talking about staying clean, staying sober, and he asked me how I told him, I said, hey, well, you get out, you stay clean, come look me up, and he came out about 8 years later, and I ran into him in a Narcotics Anonymous convention. Staying clean, we started hanging out, and then I said, you know what, I need an assistant, man, you want to work for? Yeah. So this guy, it's like if you're a drug addict looking for help, you run into the right guy, because he knows every detox, and it's like both of us, we always carry socks and thermal underwear in our trunks, because you homeless people here, man, especially now, it's like thermal underwear.
It's little things like that a lot of people overlook. They give them the food, you give them the other stuff, but like socks, underwear.
It's funny because my daughter, she, my kids, that's right, they do the same thing. It's their whole thing is helping. And my daughter was feeding the homeless Thanksgiving down in Venice, right? It's freezing cold, and I had just bought about $1,000 worth of thermal underwear, because by the grace of God, I got it, right? So we got all these thermal underwear, bunch of them, right? We got this connection downtown, and she called me, what are you doing, Danielle? She said, we're feeding the homeless down here, Dad, in Venice. I says, I live in the valley, right? I said, oh, I got some, bring them. So I took her a whole bunch of small, medium, large, double X, and I gave them to her, and she was like, and then she called me like about 1:30 when they were finished, 1:30 in the morning. She said, Dad, the thermals were the hit. Some people didn't even want to eat, and I was like, she said, thanks, Dad.
That's awesome.
So that's, it's like, it's stuff like that. That's what I want to be remembered for.
That's awesome. That's seriously incredible. And again, you're passing that on to your kids, and that will be remembered as well. People say, oh yeah, this is who this was, this is who their kids were, this is the, you know, the life that you've led and the lessons that you've taught them, which is incredible. And I thank you for that. I thank you for the show. And you were so open. We've talked about a lot of things. Is there anything that people don't know about you? Or is there any like things that people don't know? Fun stories on set? Or what don't people know about Danny Trejo?
I got the same 8 movies on my iPad, and I watch them every time I'm on a plane, and I'm on a plane all the time. Same 8 movies, all Westerns.
Do you have them memorized?
I got Desperado. No, I'm sorry. I got that's a movie I did. I've got Silverado. I've got Tombstone. Hello,
Everybody
I'll be your
loves it.
Huckleberry. I got Once Upon a Time in the West. Charles Bronson, and then I got Long Trail, 1939, John Wayne, and I've got Rio Bravo, which is John Wayne.
All classics.
Wait, hold on, John Wayne, Dean Martin, and Ricky Nelson. Great movie, right? And then what else we got?
You could almost watch those movies on mute. And then
Oh
you
yeah,
just
no, well, you got the earphones on, and so every once in a while the steward goes, Mr. Tracy, please, I'll be going, I'll be your Huckleberry, because you forget, you know, with the earphones.
you can't hear anything.
Why, Johnny Ringo, looks like somebody just walked over your grave. That's Val Kilmer.
Incredible. Well, thank you so much for
Thank
taking
you,
time out of
man.
your day. I
This
really
was fun.
appreciate it, man. It was great conversation, and certainly, like we were saying, man, just spreading positivity. That's
Yeah.
what the world needs. That's incredible. And that's obviously the lesson of this show. And I thank you guys for joining us. And hopefully now it's on you. Go out. Spread positivity. Go help someone. Go give someone something if they're in need. And just that will come back to you. That will come back to you.
Right on.
Absolutely.
Karma.
There you go. So thank you again for watching us. Thank you for Popcorn Talk for hosting us. If you guys want to follow Danny after the show, at @OfficialDannyT on Twitter, at @OfficialDannyTrejo on Instagram. I know you're very active on there, so reach out on there. You can follow me at @TheOnlyMC on Instagram and Twitter, and at the Popcorn Talk on Instagram and Twitter. Thank you guys
Check
for
us
another.
on Man at Arms, The Art of War, and remember, Rams are 9-1.
That's right. Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Check out that show. We'll see you next time.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only, not necessarily reflecting the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.